Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Joe D here. I'm broadcasting pre-recorded from my dad's basement, recording on a shitty Chromebook. So, I'm living the American dream. But as a lot of you know, this channel has been very inactive. I used to, record goofy little videos with my friends, make little short, films and all that. And I uploaded a couple covers of songs on here. But today, I've returned. It's something that I've wanted to do with my channel for quite a while. It's something that I've planned about for quite a long time. I am now rebranding this YouTube channel. I christen it Joe D's Hot and Sexy Jams. So, on this YouTube channel, I will be reviewing a lot of music. I will be reviewing albums, artists, singles, maybe do some top tens or whatever. Just talking about music because it's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that I really enjoy. Occasionally, I might review like a movie or a video game or something. It's mostly going to be music on here. So hopefully you guys are interested. Hopefully I gain some traction from a certain type of audience. I don't know. It's just I have a lot of musical opinions, a lot of shitty takes, a lot of hot takes that I just want to get out there. So here is my very first album review. So today on Joe D's Hot and Sexy Jams, the very first episode, I will be talking about one of my favorite bands, Weezer, famed Californian pop rock, pop punk, at one time emo Californian rock band. And Weezer's been taking a lot of very strange courses, even stranger than usual in the past few years. I mean, they came out with one of their best albums in a long time with the White Album. Then they came out with a collection of pop B-sides with Pacific Daydream. And then they created a covers album in the Teal album, which was somehow their most successful commercially in a very long time. I thought it sucked. And then they came out with the Black album, which also fucking sucked. So here Weezer has come back in 2021 with two albums within the span of about 4 months, due to the extreme delay of their most recent album, which I'll get into. But first, I want to talk about the album that they released back in January, which is OK Human. So OK Human is a very interesting direction for Weezer to be taking. It's something that I don't think I or anyone would have ever expected. This is a Baroque orchestral pop album. This actually isn't rock by most definitions. On this album, we see Rivers Cuomo and the Weezer guys with orchestral arrangements set to Rivers' typical, pop melodies, songs about, depression and loneliness and all that. And I think lyrically, this is Rivers' best in a very long time. It's very consistent, with a lot of themes of, Rivers going through a midlife crisis, fear of technology taking over our culture and our society, fears of being left behind in the progression of music culture. And it's really interesting to hear Rivers write about this kind of stuff. And it's definitely the most sincere and most down to earth Rivers has been in his songwriting. The most sincere and the most honest that he's been in his songwriting since at least Everything Will Be Alright in the End in 2014. So let's go track by track on this thing. It starts off with All My Favorite Songs, which is just kind of an introduction to where Rivers is at mentally, in his current state at pushing 50 years old. I'm pretty sure he is at least 50 years old. So just his life and how he's not really the depressed Asian American obsessed college student he was back in the 90s. Instead, he's a depressed, lost fame and fortune obsessed 50-year-old man in 2021. But All My Favorite Songs is a great introduction to Rivers Cuomo's mentality and his state of mind as he is right now. Very interesting song, very catchy. I learned to play it on piano, pretty nice. I know, I'm kind of talented if you didn't know. But very great opener. Alu Gobi is a great track about the kind of monotony of Rivers' life at this point. Um, the same routines that he goes through, becoming very bored, and taking this gap year that I'm on between high school and college and just pretty much working, being in my life. I feel like it's a song that I very much connect with a lot. It's very relatable. Um, Grapes of Wrath is a great, just a fun, boppy banger about that's also kind of an advertisement for Audible by Amazon. Which, by the way, if you sign up for Audible using the link Joe D's Hot and Sexy Jams, you earn absolutely nothing. So, good track, very catchy. All these songs are very catchy. It's almost like normal, typical Weezer songs just run through an orchestral filter. It's a very interesting sound. Numbers is a great ballad about, being compared and always having to use other people's achievements or perceived achievements as comparison points. And it's a very good track. Playing My Piano is another great ballad about Rivers' obsession with the piano and how it kind of provides him as an escape from his normal life. And on this track, Rivers pulls out some like vocal shit that is like, damn, Rivers, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, damn, dude, kind of some impressive stuff on this track. Mirror Image is a great interlude. It's a phenomenal interlude, very emotional song about him and his wife and their relationship and their dependency. Kind of closes on what sounds like an iPhone recording of Rivers demoing a melody, and it's really powerful stuff. I had a hair in my mouth. So, Screens, the following track, it deserves the jokes about it, calling this album "Okay Boomer," because yeah, on the surface level, it does sound like the kind of song that's like, oh, these kids and their iPhones, they don't want to talk to us anymore. But I feel like it's another great track that shows Rivers' state of mind. He's afraid of his kids and his family turning away from him and spending their time with technology instead. It's a very I feel like if I was a lot older, I could relate to it a lot more because it's a very real fear. Good track. Bird with a Broken Wing, great ballad. Don't have a whole lot to say about that one. Just a very sad, relatable, bittersweet kind of track. Dead Roses is very interesting coming from Rivers. It's very gothic, and the lyrics have a little bit of subtlety to them, which is extremely rare because we're talking about Weezer, which is one of the most unsubtle bands of all time. But yeah, very good track. Everything happens for a reason. Good, nice little interlude. Here Comes the Rain, just a fucking very much of a banger, if I may say. Although Rivers' backstory on why he wrote the song is kind of sketchy, but I won't get into that. Don't want to get political on this channel. But Here Comes the Rain is a very nice, very fun song. And the final track, the closing track, La Brea Tar Pits, is a very solid closer about, Rivers being afraid of being left behind by the modern culture. I mean, he's not very relevant anymore, obviously. This isn't the 90s or the early 2000s, and it's a sweet, kind of sad little track that closes off the album very well. But overall, this is absolutely Weezer's most consistently solid, sonically interesting, and lyrically honest record that they have made in quite a long time. I would say Everything Will Be Alright in the End is the last time it felt like Weezer had this much passion in a project that they were working on. And I find it really interesting how if Pinkerton was an examination of Rivers as a college student, this is kind of an examination of Rivers as a middle-aged man, and it's extremely interesting. It's a great listen. Would not be surprised if it ended up in my top 10 albums of the year. I'd give it a solid, give it an A. It's a great album, no doubt. All right, now the next album that we got here. What the fuck is this? So Van Weezer just released last week at the time of recording this, and it's a interesting album. This title sucks. This cover art sucks. These guys are actually pretty cute. Not gonna lie. But overall, going into Van Weezer pre-release, things were not looking too promising. I mean, the singles were pretty good. Not gonna lie. But a lot of other details, just generally considering like Rivers and Brian's lack of passion that they had in talking about it in interviews, and the just general attitude like, fuck yeah! Big dumb stadium rock music, bro! Frick yeah, man! This is gonna be awesome! It reminded me a lot of Green Day's Father of All, and the attitude going into that. But thankfully, this album is not that bad. I might hesitate a little bit before calling it good, but let's just get into it. Van Weezer is, as you can tell by the title, kind of a tribute to Van Halen and other hair metal bands of like that were synonymous with the 80s. And as for how far it succeeds on that front, it does okay. I mean, mostly it's just more of Weezer's typical like pop rock, pop punk that they always do. Just with kind of a little bit more tapping, a little bit more production that's reminiscent of hair metal, but it's not like a complete change of genre. It's still Weezer. Weezer's sound is still very recognizable in this. But let's go track by track here because I think this is it's a varied album in quality for sure. There are some great tracks on here, and there's some that are just, oh boy. So starting off with Hero, which is the intro track, which I think it's a pretty good song. Sounds kind of more like a Green Day song to me, but I mean, it's got a very good chorus. I wish the production was a little bit thicker, I guess for lack of a better word. And I think the End of the Game, which is another song on here, another single, I think that would have been like a perfect opener. I think that was such an obvious choice for an opener. So, a bit odd that Hero was chosen instead, but I mean, pretty good track. I could see it as credits music for the next Spider-Man movie. Next track is All the Good Ones, and not a big fan of this one. See, it's just kind of... It sounds a lot like a Pacific Daydream song, and I actually did like Pacific Daydream, but it sounds like the worst songs on Pacific Daydream. It sounds kind of like a mixture between Mexican Fender and Happy Hour, but not as bad as those two tracks, but I still wouldn't call it good. It's just very standard, very basic pop songwriting. It's not very interesting. The End of the Game. So this song's pretty good. I'd actually say it's probably the second best song on the album to me. Very solid pop punk song. Just the heavy crunching guitars are unmistakably Weezer. Extremely catchy. Lyrically, it's pretty vapid, but I mean, that's all right as long as the song's pretty catchy and fun. The tapping in the intro is pretty good. I'm a big fan. Should have been the intro track though. Next one, I Need Some of That. Very good pop punk song. It's very catchy. I believe it was the last single they released before the album, and yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. Just a very solid Weezery pop punk song. Beginning of the End is another great song about Rivers' nervousness coming out on stage. Not the most personal song in the world, but it is nice to have something with a little bit of lyrical substance in it. Um, very very catchy uh, main hook on it. Um, Not sure how it compares to the version that was in the Bill and Ted movie that just came out recently. I know there is a alternative version of this song in there, but I haven't listened to it yet. But having listened to just the album version, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good song. Now, Blue Dream is absolutely the worst song on here. I mean, the fact that it starts out with it starts out and repeatedly uses a direct rip of the main riff from Crazy Train, which is one of the most iconic guitar riffs of all time, and that's what they use as their main riff for this song, is just so fucking dumb. It's so stupid that only Weezer could have done it. Did they pull it off? No. Actually, the song sucks. Even the besides the Crazy Train rip, I mean lyrically, Rivers is a 50-year-old man that is still writing songs about getting rejected by women. And yeah, sure, before it was all like funny ha-has and everything, but I don't think it works for Weezer anymore. I don't think they can get away with it anymore. After they have proven that they can do better than that with OK Human. Um, yeah, Blue Dream sucks. Sonically, it's not very interesting either. Um, one more hit is one more hit's pretty solid actually. It's a pretty good song. Lyrically, it is definitely the darkest and the most complex on the record about a drug addicted prostitute, which is very interesting for Rivers to be writing about. Something that I never would have expected. Um, but it's a great, kind of a powerful track. Never would have expected Weezer to ever use thrash metal riffs on a track either, and it's all right. It's a pretty good song. Now, next one, Sheila Can Do It, is definitely my favorite song on the record. Um, I know it's kind of cheating because this isn't really a 2021 Weezer song. This is actually a 1997 Weezer song that never got properly recorded or put on any albums. But here it is, put on this album. Hardly anything metal to do with it. It's a straight 90s Weezery pop punk song, and I mean, so yeah, it's a lot better than 90% of what Weezer has come out since. So Sheila Can Do It, very catchy, very fun. Sounds like something that could have just been on the Blue album about 25 years ago, for sure. Um, Great track. Um, She Needs Me is okay. I mean, it's so basic. It sounds like it would have been one of the worst songs on Make Believe. I mean, it sounds like it was written in 5 minutes. Absolutely nothing interesting about it. Lyrically, sonically, vocally, nothing like that. Precious Metal Girl is an okay closer. It's a pretty standard Weezer, kind of cute, kind of corny, um, Rivers acoustic ballad. I mean, not a whole lot to say about it. It's okay. It's cute, I guess. Overall, I'd say this album's pretty mixed. There's some tracks that I really liked on here, specifically The End of the Game, Beginning of the End, One More Hit, and Sheila Can Do It. Oh, and I Need Some of That. Some very good tracks, but songs like Blue Dream and She Needs Me and all the good ones really drag it down, in my opinion. There's just some mega cringe on this album, just for real, man. Um, I'd say this is probably I'd say it's better than the Black album and the Teal album for sure, but uh, comparing it to OK Human, absolutely not, man. This album absolutely pales in comparison to OK Human. It is not even on the same level. So I'd give this album like fucking. I'd give it like a C. Some good tracks, but some pretty shitty ones too. Um, but yeah, hopefully Weezer's direction in the future uh, is more so OK Human than Van Weezer, because while I do like big dumb pop punk, trying to do cool, trying to do songs that are supposed to sound cool live and all that. While I do like that kind of Weezer most of the time, I don't think it's enough for them anymore. I don't think they can get away with just settling with that anymore. They have proven that they can do stuff that's more subtle, more complex, and I feel like in Weezer's future, I feel like they should go in that direction farther. So hopefully, this upcoming project, they announced that they're coming out with 4 fucking albums in 2022. So hopefully that project is a lot more in the same direction that OK Human is. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the two most recent Weezer albums, OK Human and Van Weezer. If you want to check these albums out, they're fucking everywhere, streaming, Spotify, Apple Music, CD, all that. So if you want to go check those out. If you agreed or disagreed on any of my opinions in this video, fuck you, I don't care. I'm always right about everything, so if you're mad, I will block you. But yeah, anyways, to get serious for a second, this is my first time trying this kind of video out. Like I said, talking about music is something that I really like to do. It's something that I'm very passionate about. So let me know what you guys thought, and I'll probably be back in a while for another album review. So see ya.